So those with PDA experience what I would call a stress response. So that is a response in their nervous system, fight, flight, fawn, freeze, that is involuntary. I think that's really important to point out. It's not intentional, manipulative, all of those words. And when those stress responses pop up, they can be, an externalizing form. So something that feels like fighting, arguing, protesting, refusing, aggression, even, or more internalizing, which can be a shutdown, a sort of freeze, a sort of immobilization within the nervous system. And those stress responses, whether it be internalized or externalized, are triggered in someone with PDA by demands. So, what is a demand? A demand is a task, an expectation, an activity asked of one, either by someone else or the environment or internally. So, our bodies place demands on us, such as hunger, thirst, toileting, sleep, and there are many PDA individuals that experience a great deal of distress simply with those cues and needs from their own body and are unable to meet those needs. So, what that can look like is being really hungry and wanting, to eat your favorite food, but being unable to meet that demand. Same thing can happen with toileting and sort of really struggling to want to relieve oneself, but that demand from one's body just really immobilizing that system. External demands, examples would be, needing to go somewhere, let's say for an appointment. School is a common, trigger point, and being unable to do that and just really feeling quite immobilized. Sometimes, you know, emotions can get sort of stoked up in that of either, frustration or anger or fear. And that can be at times misleading because then it can feel like an emotional issue, like, oh, my child is scared of school or is anxious about school. And yes, there absolutely can be anxiety attached to these events, or anger or fear, any emotion. But what we're really talking about is bigger than emotion. It really is that physiological response in the nervous system that is sort of the uh, causal mechanism, if you will, for that shutdown or that inability to access that. And so I think one of the things that is often helpful for parents sort of teasing out a PDA profile is that their child is unable to do something that they want to do, right? And that is something that you will see in a profile with PDA is not being able to do something that a child would otherwise want to do and even request doing. But once it's sort of put out there in a format that feels like a demand, then it shuts down the ability to access that very same thing they really want.